It's a packed house for today's 67th meeting between two old rivals, DePaul and Notre Dame. It's also Ray Meyer's last visit to Notre Dame, his alma mater, in this his 42nd and final year as a Blue Demons head coach. He has an effective 1-2 punch in Kenny Patterson and Tyrone Corbin. Corbin, an outstanding leaper, is DePaul's leading rebounder and scorer, while Patterson, receiving this pass, has been the man in the clutch. Digger Phelps is in a must-win situation today, and he'll depend on Captain Tom Sluby, his leading scorer, who is having his finest year. Digger calls Sluby the star of the team. It's one of college basketball's finest rivalries. Second-ranked DePaul against the Irish of Notre Dame.
Today's game between the DePaul Blue Demons and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame is sponsored by Chevrolet. America is on the move and Chevrolet is supplying the wheels. Chevrolet and you taking charge. Meisterbrau, a great beer at a great price. And by Ice Blue Aqua Velva, because there's something about an Ice Blue Aqua Velva man.
Two outstanding Catholic institutions, two independents, two old rivals, DePaul and Notre Dame. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. This is a special day for Ray Meyer of DePaul, returning to his alma mater. He was a captain of the Fighting Irish in 36 and 37. He comes in here after losing his first game of the year. Some feel that will relieve the pressure, but they've got to get out of a shooting slump. They're shooting only 33% in the last two games. On the other hand, Notre Dame was playing so well a week ago. They'd won 7 in a row. Now they've lost 2 of their last 3, and Digger Phelps is in a very, very must-win situation. With me is Billy Packer, and Billy, Digger Phelps said it very well. He said today's game is a battle for Seattle as far as the Irish are concerned.
Not only this game for Notre Dame, Gary, they almost have to go through the rest of their season winning all their ball games. Those 2 losses on the road were disastrous down in South Carolina, and of course losing to Rutgers again the other night. This ball club has to get back on track, and no better place to start than right here.
DePaul lost that first game. A lot of people felt that was good for him. That would take some of the pressure away. You don't necessarily agree.
I haven't ever believed that theory at all. If that was true, why not lose the opening game of the year and say, okay, guys, from now on, you know, we're under control. I think it's a key as to how well you're playing at this time of year, not what your record is. Once you get in the NCAA tournament, from that point on, you've got to be undefeated. Whatever it is up to that point makes no difference if you're playing well.
And now, as we mentioned, a special day for Ray Meyer. The fans here are excited about him. Let's go now to the introduction of the DePaul lineup and, of course, Coach Meyer.
At center, 6'8" and a sophomore from Flint, Michigan, number 51, Marty Embry. At guard, 6'4" and a senior from Newark, New Jersey, number 14, Jerry McMillan. At guard, 6'2" and a junior from the Queens in New York, number 10, Kenny Patterson. And the head coach of the Blue Demons, 714 wins to his credit. A Notre Dame graduate, 2-time basketball captain in 37 and 38. Now in his 42nd year, the coach, Ray Meyer.
More celebrity excitement.
Eurosport.
The new front-drive Celebrity Eurosport. Special F41 sports suspension straightens out curves in a car that looks as special as it feels.
Eurosport.
Move into more celebrity. Eurosport. A touch of Europe at a Chevrolet price.
Chevrolet.
And you.
Taking charge.
When I first bought this ranch, I could work it with 1 horse. The place has grown a little since then. And along the way, I learned something. If you sell a man good steers at a fair price, you're gonna do okay. The people that make Meisterbrau beer must have gone to the same school I did. They got a beer here that tastes just as good as Budweiser. They sure do. It just doesn't cost as much. It sure don't. I got a hunch. those boys are going to do okay, too.
Introducing Meisterbrau. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
The car won't start.
Winter driving can mean trouble, but plain Gasline antifreeze often can't help. STP gas treatment does more. It tunes up your gas for better performance. Used regularly, STP helps break up water in your tank to remove it, helps clear your fuel line, and cleans your carburetor. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Oh, here's Daddy's car!
Don't get stopped cold. Get STP gas treatment and tune up your gas.
STP.
Your car care company.
Who's been using my razor?
Mine burned me.
Don't blame your razor. Use my Ice Blue Aqua Velva.
Beecham's Aqua Velva turns red-hot razor burn to cool, smooth comfort.
My Aqua Velva men.
There's something about an Ice Blue Aqua Velva man.
Also from Beecham.
Mommy beat Daddy.
I quit.
Yvonne, how do you do it? Isn't easy. After Morgan was born, my doctor told me I had iron poor blood. Now I protect myself, eat right, and take Geritol. It's great protection against iron poor blood.
The home of the Fighting Irish, a difficult place to play basketball. Let's check the starting lineups now for these two clubs. At the forwards, Corbin, who's been in a shooting slump. Dolan, the outstanding passer for the Irish. Holmes plays well in the major games, and Barlow is the shooting forward for Digger. Embry, possibly the most improved player for the Blue Demons, and Donald Royal, a third start in place of the injured Tim Kempton. Patterson, he beat Notre Dame last year on the last second shot, and Sluby playing with outstanding confidence. McMillan is a competitor. And JoJo Buchanan so quick defensively. Now, we mentioned that Tim Kempton will be out of the game, but also out of this game right now are two officials. We have only one, Ed Hightower, that has gotten here on time. Jim Bain and Ralph Rosser, we understand, landed at the South Bend Airport and will be here shortly.
He was checking on his one-man mechanics. There is no such thing in basketball. There are two-man officiating mechanics, but a one-man's going to be interesting. Let's see if the players get a little physical early in the game.
Sluby, who had 7 20-point games. Now, they're going to have to stop it because this is a tradition here, throwing the paper on the floor.
I think that's absolute garbage. They do it up in the East the same way it should be, an automatic technical foul on the home team. That's ridiculous. They've been doing this for years here, and they do it up in the Pulaski and other places, and I don't think it should be part of the game.
DePaul, as you can see, trying to win their fourth in a row. They've never done that before against Notre Dame. And right now, the Irish with Sluby's shot leading 2-0.
Starting off in a 1-3-1 trap, taking the ball pretty far out.
And Embry put that one away for keeps.
And all the players looking around for the other official, and there are no other officials. A good no call. I'm surprised Notre Dame pulled their defense so far out early because DePaul's had problems shooting from the outside. When you bring your defense out like that, it allows the team to go ahead and work inside.
Here's Buchanan, the sophomore out of Seattle, Washington, the point guard. Royal starting to place a Kempton, who has a bad leg injury, may be out for a week, maybe more. They miss him. He was a bull in the middle for the Fighting Irish.
Great man-to-man by DePaul. Notre Dame wanting to pass that ball around, occupy the ball, keep it to a low-scoring ball game.
Sluby, he's got the confidence. Rebound effectively there by Royal.
Great rebound, and Digger Phelps worked so hard yesterday to get his team more intense in practice. He needs some of those second shots.
The Irish on top by 2. One thing about this DePaul team that concerns Digger is their quickness. They're one of the quicker teams collectively that you'll play all year. Corbin, who's shot 14% in the last 2 games, misses that one. We have a hell ball, and it will go to DePaul.
Gary, we saw last week in Vincent at Michigan State a fellow that was suffering from an ankle injury. Corbin's done the same thing, and when you're a good jump shooter and you don't get the spring in your legs, you have a tendency to really be off of your shooting, and Tyrone has been the last couple of weeks.
Here's Patterson penetrating, and that will be off of DePaul. Notre Dame with a 4-2 lead in possession. Ray Meyer, the captain of the Fighting Irish in 36 and 37, a former assistant here before becoming the head coach of the Blue Demons.
Patterson picking up full court on Buchanan. Patterson, one of the best stealers of the ball in college basketball.
Buchanan is a natural left-hander, and he's forcing him right. Sluby, power move, and he's fouled, and it'll go. They're going to get that foul to Embry.
Good offensive movement by Notre Dame. Nice play on the inside. See that good pass, good cut by Sluby on the inside from Gonzaga High School in D.C.
Been an outstanding player at Notre Dame this year, particularly down the stretch. Last year he had to vie for time as a sub. He's had some big games coming both off the bench and as a starter.
He has played as well as anybody envisioned he could play, and this is senior year. And Digger said it very simply, he's our star. He must shoot the ball more. Now, free throw shooting is not his forte, though. He's shooting only 46, or should say 56% from the line.
And that's unusual, Gary, because he's got good technique. You know he's got a lot of moxie as a ball player, and he's very experienced. Notre Dame stays in that 1-3-1 trap.
5-2, the Irish.
Has to surprise DePaul because everybody else has been packing it back in, making him take outside jump shots against the zone.
Corbin out to McMillan. McMillan's in a shooting slump right now. That's a tough shot, and he's fouled. Foul is going to go on Sluby. We're talking about the fact that Corbin was shooting only 14%. In the last game, Jerry McMillan hit only 2 of 15 in that loss to St. Joseph's.
Now, as I said, people packing it back in, making him take the perimeter jump shot. McMillan's one of those guys that, and along with Jackson, who's his sub, that like to shoot that 12 to 15-foot shot off the move.
McMillan not able to get the shot to drop. DePaul is not a good free throw shooting team. As a team, they're shooting 63%.
We talked about a couple of teams in the top 10. Houston, not a good free throw shooting team. DePaul, you've got to be in the NCAA, a team that can make that free throw.
McMillan gets the second half of it. 2-point lead now for Notre Dame. 17:34 to go in this first half.
Here's a full court zone press by DePaul. They've got so much quickness and good overall team size.
Buchanan off to Barlow. Kenny Barlow, the sophomore from Indianapolis. 7-3, the Irish.
There's no zone press in the world that does anything other than give you that corner shot. If you can make that all day, you can beat it. There's the same thing.
Kevin Holmes at the other end. Kevin Holmes has always played well in the big games.
Surprisingly, Gary, DePaul loves to score on the sidelines. That's one of their big areas of shooting. We'll do that in the clock, and there you go.
Patterson, Buchanan with a foul, the basket. Let's see if they're going to count it.
Now, here's where a trail official would realize that about the basket. Now, Ray Meyer wants the basket.
Still no indication.
Yep.
Now, there they gave it to him.
Good job by Ray Meyer. Now, Digger's going to say, no, he grabbed it. Yeah, good job. Good job by Ray Meyer. Digger kind of fell asleep there. Didn't realize Ray was getting the official's attention. Now, watch this. We talked about Patterson, one of the best stealers of the ball in college basketball. Does he get the shot off before he's fouled? The answer is no. Now, if there had been 3 officials working, they would have seen that the shot was not taken before the foul took place.
Anyway, that basket tied it up at the 16:50 mark. Well, I tell you, Buchanan now respects Patterson a little more, does he, out there?
He came down, rather lackadaisical. Look at Patterson's got his eye right on his chest.
And he reached in that time bad away. Buchanan has got his match today.
Now, there's a case where the official's all the way over on the other side of the court, Gary. There's no way. He just had to go along with it, and the coaches are being kind of nice and not getting in any arguments. They realize he can't be in position to make all the calls.
Here is Dolan. He is the intelligence of this team. I want to pass.
Digger loved that play. He worked on it all day yesterday. He's on the sidelines. A set play. Great lob, and Dolan, as you pointed out, Gary, a super passer for a big man.
He is the intelligence of the team. That's what Digger said, and that was a very intelligent pass, to say the least. There's a reach in by Sluby, batting it out of bounds. A little quickness by Notre Dame right now.
Really catching DePaul off stride, because if you had watched what has been successful against DePaul in the St. Joe game, you'd have packed the zone way back in, as Notre Dame's doing now. For the first time, dropping it way back inside.
Both teams shooting very well. Each team has missed only 1 shot in the early going.
It's a 2-3 zone, but Notre Dame packed way in.
That's a traveling call. That's the second turnover against the Blue Demons. This mystique here, the Athletic and Convocation Center, has been remarkable. So many outstanding teams have come in here and been ambushed. DePaul ranked second, having a battle here. They trailed in the early going by 2.
Baseball star Jim Palmer.
I'll never worry about dandruff again. Sound impossible? Not with Tegrin shampoo. Tegrin has special medicine, so I don't worry about itching or flaking, and I don't worry about dandruff, even if I don't shampoo for a day or 2. The Tegrin test convinced me. Tegrin controlled my dandruff not just 1 day or 2 days, but 3 days. I don't worry about dandruff anymore, so why should you? Use Tegrin. Tegrin works. day after day after day.
This beer the best. It tastes better.
Don Mellenthin picked fully Croissant Old Style Light in a taste test against his favorite light beer.
Miller Lite. That's surprising. You normally order a light, they give you light. You never think of Old Style Light.
And now?
I will buy Old Style Light now because it's a better tasting beer. It's a full-bodied, light beer.
And it's fully Croissant.
The Croisening must make it work because it tastes good.
Old Style Light. Taste the difference Croisening makes in a light beer.
If you can have a light beer with taste, why not buy Old Style Light?
This is Mr. Goodwrench. Did you know that your GM car's engine uses more air than gasoline? For every sip of gas, it takes 15 gulps of air. That's why a clean air filter helps keep you from wasting power or damaging your engine. So let Mr. Goodwrench check your air, fuel, and oil filters. Chances are you'll save gas and money, too.
It's another of Mr. Goodwrench's good ways
to keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
Saturday.
You're asking me to fly Airwolf into Russia without any guns?
Airwolf becomes the only hope for a defecting Soviet family.
I don't think we should have taken this job in the first place.
Notre Dame leading by 2 here. Let's check other games. This earlier on CBS. Georgetown winning. Boston College losing to Providence.
Hey, Joe Maloney doing a great job up there.
And Florida State, who earlier upset Louisville, lost to Memphis State. In the Metro. Indiana State losing to West Texas. Iona over Army. Look at this. Virginia defeating Louisville, and we'll see Virginia next Saturday against Houston.
Gary, if you remember last year, Virginia played so well against Louisville, and then they had Sampson had great game against Louisville, but that doesn't surprise me. Virginia a good club.
Odell Wilson having a great year. Here's Buchanan. That's not supposed to happen against this quick DePaul team, but it did, and Notre Dame up by 4.
Notre Dame really playing hard today and surprising everybody with the way they're attacking DePaul. They're not playing passively at all.
We understand the 2 officials have arrived here. In the next break in the action, they'll try to get them into the game, and there will be a foul on Ken Barlow. The 2 officials, Jim Bain and Ralph Rosser. Now, the story of their being late would take us forever, but suffice it to say their plane broke down. They tried to leave Decatur, Illinois, to get into here. Had what?
Gary,
the garage door wouldn't open up.
My question is, they knew the game was an afternoon game today. Why wouldn't they have been here last night? No, you got an answer for that one?
What's your check with the Big Ten on that? 11-7, Notre Dame, and you can see both these teams are going to go after the ball on the floor. This hell ball will go to Notre Dame.
Be quite honest with you, so far, I think the coaches would vote to let Hightower work the game the rest of the way himself.
Boy, Lefty having a tough time losing again today. Navy over James Madison, and here come the 2 officials. And I might say, not very subtly, the crowd very aware that they've just, there's Jim Bain.
Kind of hard to sneak to a place like this.
You couldn't be a wallflower here, right?
No, it'd be kind of tough.
Anyway, they're back. All 3 are working at the 15-minute mark of this first half.
Comegys in the ball game now. DePaul's got their big squad out there.
Comegys, 35. Dallas Comegys has come in. He's the shot blocker for the DePaul Blue Demons. There he is, picking up Barlow. Comegys had 7 blocks a week ago against St. John's.
Oh, nice job by Dolan.
That's a foul on Kenny Patterson.
You really have to get to watch Dolan a lot to appreciate him. A New Jersey product. He's an extremely intelligent player. Excellent passer, understands the game, and he's a lot bigger player than you give him credit for because he takes up a lot of room.
Tennessee over Mississippi State. St. John's, after losing that tough one a week ago in overtime, defeating Connecticut. And there's St. Joe's, a team defeated DePaul on Tuesday night.
Now, the first time the fans get on the officials at all when the 3 guys made their first call.
Here is Sluby, and Holmes is there impressively with the rebound. Kenny Patterson always trying to penetrate, always forcing the issue.
There's Notre Dame. They're getting back into that 2-3 zone now, playing it aggressively, though.
McMillan still not shooting well, but there is Corbin, blocked that time by Royal. Corbin again. Boy, he's got tenacity.
Tyrone still playing a little bit handicapped with that ankle, but he's such a competitor.
He's had a virus, too. Ray Meyer was telling me last night he hasn't felt that well. Combined with the ankle, that's been a lot to come back from. Steal by McMillan. And Sluby tried to foul him and couldn't.
That was a foul.
Sluby tried everything he could to commit the foul. He didn't call it, and McMillan tied it up.
Now that team quickness from DePaul is starting to add up a little bit on Notre Dame.
Buchanan tried to pass into Dolan. That will be off of DePaul. Holmes reaching in. Dolan, they have inbounds it because he sees the whole floor. He's the best passer on this team.
Well, what else is good, Gary, with his size, he can throw the nice lob pass on the inside over the top of the fellow that's guarding him. Good fake.
Boy, Sluby knew Comegys was there, didn't he? And he got it in anyway. Sluby with 5. 13-11 Notre Dame. Here's Corbin, and he may have walked. Back it goes to Tyrone. I think he's out of that slump now.
What happens sometimes, too, is when you have the bad leg or something wrong with your legs that you don't jump too well, you start altering your shot. And then when the leg comes back, you have a hard time getting out of bad habits.
Not like a hitter in baseball.
Stack offense now by Notre Dame, trying to get Sluby loose inside.
Holmes staying on him. Sluby. Comegys, I think, got a hand on that one, and following is Royal.
Royal high jump 6'9" when he was 15 years of age. You know he can get off the ground.
And Holmes is in there, jump, what, 6'11", so they can get up. Here's Patterson ducking in again, and reaching in on him was JoJo Buchanan. That's his second personal. 4th team foul now against the Irish.
Now, one of the things that Buchanan has to do in that zone, Gary, is even though you're playing his own defense, you still have tough man-to-man responsibilities when a guy's in your area, and that time Buchanan let his man go right by.
Not a lot of guys who can drive against the zone the way he can do that. Patterson ducking inside. Now McMillan having to retie the shoe.
Particularly a Patterson that can go ahead and, as you say, penetrate against anybody, zone or man-to-man.
There's Corbin missing, and Barlow there with a rebound.
He had to pass out to Sluby and missed him.
12.5 minutes to go in the first half. Sluby wants the shot. Dolan back to Buchanan.
Nice move by Barlow.
Barlow is fouled. It'll go against Comegys, who got a hand on him.
Well, so often you make that change of direction off the pass and you get called for walking. That was a perfectly executed move by Barlow.
You know, Digger was concerned, Billy, coming into this game, how well Barlow would play, because when Tim Kempton went out, it gives him a different look inside. Kempton's kind of the bull, the inside rock, and Barlow is a finesse forward, and so he's had to play without that big guy in the middle, but played pretty well in the early going. Tony Jackson now coming in for DePaul, and Jerry McMillan will exit. And Marty Embry now has come back into the ball game. Well, you know, Comegys will sit down.
Barlow last year started 16 straight games, was doing great. All of a sudden came late January, February. He faded into oblivion and ended the year really on a down note after a real good start.
Digger calls him the silent player. Kind of an interesting analogy of this sophomore at 6'10". 17-13, the Irish, and Barlow has 6 points.
And now Digger changes things up, goes back a little bit to that half-court pressure. He doesn't want DePaul to get too used to playing against a 2-3, and there was just a little phony play.
There's Jackson, who just checked in. He is starting to emerge a little bit now after a shaky early season.
Now Notre Dame's matching up out of their defense. Something everybody expects. Jackson on a bad shot.
That's his shot usually, though, is to go up on the man, but he was not in position that time.
And here comes Joe Howard in there.
Joe Howard will check in, and Joe Howard will have to wait because we have a break right now at the 11:58 mark. Notre Dame leads it by 4.
When I retired from pro ball, I bought this place with a little help from the bank. And today we're doing just great by selling good food at good prices.
Thanks, Mike.
I think that's the only way to do business. Meister Brau must too. This beer tastes as good as Budweiser, but doesn't cost as much. To me, Meister Brau makes a lot of sense. To a lot of other people, too.
Ah, you said it.
Introducing Meister Brau. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
Chevy Tough is taking charge.
Moisture and road salt are murder on a pickup, but tough Chevy S10 comes with built-in corrosion-fighting zinc alloy steel, zinc pro metal, and large quantities of tough galvanized steel to help guard against rust. A whopping 277 square feet. Enough zinc-rich steel to make its own garage. For year-round protection, Chevy S10's got you covered with corrosion-fighting steel. Chevy Tough. It's taking charge.
You know, the secret to a comfortable retirement is really no secret. You need a smart investment firm to help you get there.
And the best way to find that investment firm is to ask a lot of questions.
Katie and I asked.
And the more we asked, the more good things we heard about one company, Dean Witter.
We heard about the quality of their financial advice and programs.
We heard they really listen, really care.
For us, Dean Witter was worth asking about.
Dean Witter. Worth asking about.
Want to remind you, at the conclusion of this game, Billy Packer and I will be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team, and Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Right now, Notre Dame by 4. Both teams shooting extremely well. DePaul hitting 55% of their shots, and Notre Dame 70%. Jim Dolan will inbounds. Checking in is Joe Howard, number 24, and that's the same Joe Howard that was the outstanding wide receiver for the Fighting Irish football team.
You see who's all the way back against the press, Dolan.
Sluby. Royal doing a good job inside, and Sluby has it stripped. It'll be off of the ball.
Now, Jackson made the steal from outside on the baseline. He might have been out of bounds when he reached on in there. Couldn't see it from here. Pretty good steal. It's kind of nice to have Dolan back there against the press. There's that lob I was talking about.
Barlow, though, couldn't take it up because he ran into Embry, and Embry just knocked him straight backwards. Shows you how strong that guy is. Embry is really the strongest player on this team. He's an avid weightlifter.
And now, DePaul goes into his zone, and Digger Phelps says, I'm not playing you against the zone. He pulls it back out. And now DePaul said, well, we saw what Digger's going to do, so we'll go back to the man-to-man.
Here's Joe Howard, 72 catches in his career as a wide receiver, and he is one of the toughest little guys you'll ever see. 5'9" out of Clinton, Maryland.
Well, at halftime, we're going to have features on little men in basketball.
That's right.
He's one of 3 guys in America that play in both football and basketball on Division I level.
John Pay of Stanford is one of those, the quarterback as well as the player at Stanford.
Mike Epley at Clemson.
Yep.
The kid down there at
Brandon at Arkansas.
Brandon at Arkansas, right. You know, he's a defensive end or offensive end. Most of the time you figure guys that would double would be quarterbacks.
And we're going to have a traveling call against DePaul. That's their 4th turnover. They've been stuck on 13 for a long time. Notre Dame still up by 4.
Gary, one of the keys to this game, I feel, is where you're going to keep the score. Notre Dame right on schedule. Great pass. Dolan.
Biggest lead of the game now for the Irish. 7 points for Sluby. Going to get Comagese back in at the first opportunity.
Gary, Notre Dame really tough if they can keep you under 60 points. Now we're at the 10-minute mark, and they've got the ball under 15 points for that first 10 minutes. So they're right on schedule for their victorious night ball games.
DePaul's had that depth, the bench, but thus far the bench hasn't really helped them that much. That's going to be a foul on Joe Howard. Let's go back to Sluby's breakaway.
Here's Dolan again. With his height, he's able to see the court very well, and he's an excellent passer. Sluby went for the distance. Dolan hit him right on the mark. Sluby almost slipped out there, but still made the basket.
Richard Digger Phelps in his 14th year. He'd like to get back into the NCAAs after missing the last 2 years to do that. That was a 15th foul, by the way, on the Irish. The first on Joe Howard. There is a reach in by Sluby. Patterson, tough shot.
Well, what's happening to Joe Howard now is that DePaul has good size out there in their guards, and they're shooting over the top of Joe Howard's head in the zone.
We're halfway through the first half. 19-15 Notre Dame.
He's small in basketball. He must be tiny in football.
Boy, he's acrobatic.
Oh, beautiful.
Barlow.
No call by the official. Beautiful dump by Howard.
Howard comes from that D.C. area, that D.C. style of play, and he plays like he knows the game.
And the only basketball he's played in the summer leagues in Plymouth, Indiana.
There's another turnover. DePaul now with 5. This Mystique starting to set in a little bit. Boy, a lot of teams have been ambushed. Remember, UCLA came in here with that 88-game winning streak to have it snapped.
Luby really has fire in his eyes in regard to going offensively to the basket today.
Rebound, Dolan.
They are taking it to DePaul.
This team, Notre Dame, is an outstanding rebounding club. They're 5th in the nation, and they've done a good job in the early going.
2nd in the nation on defense, too, team defense. So only Petey Corral's Princeton team that plays a very patient game also leads them.
McMillan, and DePaul needed that one. McMillan with 5. 23-17 Notre Dame.
Barry Digger will give up that shot at the top of the key because he knows that's the least likely shot DePaul wants to take. Howard giving a little quickness back here in the backcourt. Patterson can't keep up with him as well.
Howard played a lot of pickup basketball at Plymouth, Indiana, which is the home of Scott Skiles of Michigan State. Then in that all bookstore league that they have here. And when Dan Duff became ineligible, Digger went after him and said, "Can you play?" And here he is. He's coming way out on Dolan.
Dolan had the back door on him.
And Royal, he traveled, double dribble the ball. Embry will come back in. The 4th turnover against the Irish. Holmes will sit down.
What's happening, obviously, to DePaul right now, they can't get into any flow or rhythm in their offense. You know, everybody going one-on-one. No flow at all.
But they are shooting better, as you can see. That's got to be encouraging after the last 2 games.
Notre Dame playing at 1-3-1 now. Matching up out of it. Joe Howard running back and forth.
Kenny Patterson.
Close.
You know, Patterson hits some big shots, but seems to miss them early, doesn't he?
That was way off.
He's won 3 games in the last 2 years on last-second shots, including beating the Irish last year in the Rosemont Horizon. There's a block by Comegys again.
He's a great shot blocker, and he hurt his ankle a little bit.
Yes, he did. Comegys is limping as he goes to the other end. There he is with the ball. Corbin. Oh!
That ball...
I don't think he hurt that ankle very bad.
That ball may have been in the cylinder. Comegys is one of the best shot blockers I've seen come along in the game. His timing is excellent. He doesn't try to foul. He goes up there and just gets pieces of the ball.
Well, he's close to the all-time school record set by Dave Corzine. He had 53 coming in here. Corzine had 62 one year. And he'll get that. He had one already today. Barlow. Look at Corbin battling there. Embry's got it.
Comegys running a little bit, but it looks like he's out of breath right now.
McMillan again, and we're going to have a push-off here.
That should be on Comegys reaching over the net. Good call.
Jim Bain late arriving at the game, but not late in that situation. He was right on top of it.
He saw that one.
Let's see if he was having offensive interference on that slam by Comegys.
Nope. Excellent replay, and I was wrong again.
TV timeout. Entering the Irish lineup. Chevrolet taking charge.
Coming at you, one hot-selling wagon from Chevrolet, the front-drive Cavalier.
Hot.
Cavalier's 2-liter electronically fuel-injected engine delivers more standard horsepower than Ford Escort and the 3 leading imports. Hot. Plus, Cavalier wagon has more total room and a cool low price.
Chevrolet.
And you.
Taking charge.
My business is unique.
So, for a small computer, I called IBM.
What's your problem, they asked?
Inventory.
Shipping.
Billing.
Cash flow.
Tying in with headquarters. Everything.
And IBM helped me find the best solution for now and when I grow.
And they backed it with IBM service.
Am I glad I got an IBM small computer?
I'm delighted.
Yes, sir. Ready to launch. Temperature, 45 below. Angle, 45 degrees. T-minus, 47, 46, 45. Fire!
40,000 explosions. Loaded with dynamite. So get bold with the whole will. Time to reload with 40,000 of liquor.
Can Carl Lewis smash Bob Beeman's incredible long jump record? Find out tomorrow when he and other Olympic hopefuls compete in the U.S. Olympic Invitational Indoor Track Meet on CBS Sports.
You just saw Carl Lewis, Billy, one of the superstars of our time. And tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern, the U.S. Olympic Indoor Track and Field Meet, he went 28 feet 10 1/4 inches. That's only 4 1/4 inches short of the outdoor record. And he says in the Meadowlands they have a longer ramp. There is Tim Kempton, the sophomore center, out, and they believe he has a stress fracture. They can't find it on the x-rays, but he was in real pain yesterday.
He really was. Tremendous pain. Tried to get him to the hospital after that game against Rutgers the other night. His mom's a policewoman out on Long Island, and she couldn't even help him get through that emergency room very well.
At the 6:49 mark, Notre Dame leading by 4. They've led as many as 8 in this first half. Joe Howard remains in at the point guard.
Sluby pushing off. Yep. Another good call by the official.
And Sluby with his second personal foul.
Sluby was using McMillan's chin for an elbow rest.
Digger Phelps did not like that call. Digger yesterday was a little caustic. He was a little irritated by his team's performance, and he was after this club, but they seemingly understood what he wanted.
You said just yesterday he was caustic?
But I mean, he really was after him. Boy, he did. They came out here playing much better than they practiced yesterday.
There's that 2-3 zone again by Notre Dame.
Kamachis.
Well, he's a good-looking shooter.
Boy, and he shoots that ball, Billy, about zenith of his jump, doesn't he?
Good-looking shooter. Considered by most one of the best ever to come out to Philadelphia. And the only guy Ray Meyer had ever seen play outside the state of Illinois as a high school player.
Now, that's the shot Corbin hasn't been hitting. Maybe that's where the ankle comes into play. Banked it too hard.
Joe Howard's looking to penetrate inside, and there's a push.
That'll be on Cecil Rucker, who just checked into the game, number 43, a senior out of Washington, D.C. Now, that's 17 fouls against the Irish.
Cecil Rucker from Mackin High School had the greatest player probably in Notre Dame history, Austin Carr. I was looking up some things the other day about Austin. He had 61 in an NCAA game, holds the home record of 55 points, had 50 away from the court, had 54 against Indiana. In his career, Gary, he had 9 50-point games.
You don't see that anymore, do you?
Nope.
Holmes will come in now for Embry. There he is. Kevin Holmes out of the Los Angeles area. McMillan at the line. He has 5 points.
Digger Phelps is really upset. He said this game was worked much better when we just had one official.
Inside, 6 minutes left in the first half. Still a 4-point lead. A very low-scoring first half. And that'll be kicked out of bounds by Patterson.
Joe Howard's protecting the ball pretty well, though, and getting his team in the offense since he's come into the ball game.
Hillman will inbounds for the Irish. The Irish had won 7 in a row. Then they got beat by South Carolina, beat Vermont Monday, and then got ambushed by Rutgers in the Meadowlands.
See the respect Digger Phelps has for Dolan. He has him take the ball out of bounds in every passing situation from out of bounds.
Howard, he's not afraid of Patterson at all, and Corbin in a reach-in commits the foul. Tyrone Corbin with his first 15th foul against DePaul.
Nolan was setting a good screen that time on the inside for Rucker. Corbin tried to get around him.
Corbin, a computer science major, and that's not an easy field. In fact, that was another thing Ray said. He was so busy studying that he was tired. The virus, the ankle, he had everything going against him. Playing better today. Rucker.
That's one of those shots a coach says no, 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 and then yes, yes, yes.
The ball now has only hit one of their last 6 shots and find themselves down by 6 points.
He said the key for Notre Dame is to keep this game under 60 points. Right now they're on schedule.
Patterson retrieved it. Oh, what a pass that is. And we're going to have a foul as Holmes tried to put it away. It'll go on Barlow.
Good job by Holmes to try to go in there and dunk it and just use all that power he has. This is a great pass by Kenny Patterson. Watch him drop it off. He does that so well when he penetrates and comes to the jump stop. And Holmes goes up. And right here, you see him grab the rim. Now, if you have the ball in the cylinder and are getting hit, you have the ability to grab that rim. It's the only time in the game.
This is a guy that's worked so hard on his free throw shooting and still hasn't really gotten to the point he wants to be. He misses that one. They're 1 of 5 now as a team. Holmes is shooting 67%. Now that's up from the last time we saw him. He spends about 30 minutes after practice trying to improve this phase of his game.
One of the best all-around athletes in college basketball.
It's a 5-point lead for the Irish.
Again, Nolan back there to help out against the press. Barlow shouldn't be putting that ball on the floor.
Howard almost fouled by Corbin. Digger thought he was.
Well, contact's not necessarily a foul. It's contact when you gain an advantage. Let go. And Bain, in that particular case, didn't feel that he gained an advantage.
Here's Rucker. Rucker will play more now with Kempton out of there. They were expecting to give him more playing time. He's only played in 8 games prior to today.
So far, Sluby has been taken out of the offense the last 4 or 5 minutes, and it's important for Notre Dame to get him the ball. Here he goes, cutting down low.
Boy, he goes inside. He bounces off of people. Howard, and he is fouled on his move to the basket.
Joe Howard's quite a penetrator. He just about always will dish off, Gary. He should have put this shot up, and he would have got a 2-shot foul. Because when he passed off, put it into a 1-on-1 situation. Now watch Joe Howard go to that hoop. Gets fouled. Now right here, he should have just thrown the ball at the basket. Now it's still only a 6, so there won't be even an opportunity to shoot. Had he put it up, he'd have got a 2-shot foul.
Holmes committed the foul, his first. Howard's going to penetrate again, and he is dwarfed that time by Holmes.
Holmes hit him and knocked him right backwards.
Rucker again. Corbin there with a rebound.
It's not the shot Notre Dame wants.
Here's Comagese to Corbin, and he's fouled. This will be Rucker, and that's twice now. DePaul is in midair, been met defensively by Notre Dame, and both times they've come away with a foul.
They keep taking the ball to you, and unless you're man enough to stand up to it, you're going to get blitzed by DePaul.
That's a good point. So at the line will be Corbin. The foul on Rucker, his second. Now Tyrone Corbin is a good free throw shooter. He's shooting 73%. He's good everything. 4 rebounds and 4 points thus far.
Really, if you're Digger Phelps, you got to be a little uneasy here, Gary, because you're doing defensively what you want to do to DePaul, but you can't get any points on the board. You would think right now, the way Notre Dame's played defensively, they should have about an 8 or 10-point margin.
Barlow playing a strong game on the boards. His 3rd rebound. There's Sluby touching the ball. You mentioned earlier he hasn't had a chance with him.
He hasn't touched it for a while. They'd be smart to get him the ball on this particular possession. Put some pressure back on that defensive team. Open offense. Nobody playing the post now at all for Notre Dame. Just trying to get backdoor cuts. DePaul doing a good job.
Boy, it's tough with the quickness of this DePaul team. We're going to take a break at the 3:24 mark. Notre Dame now leading 25-21, and the Irish playing much improved ball.
If you've got what it takes and really care, there's a special kind of life you'll want to share. Serving your country is a special call. It's good for you. It's good for all. Not all who try fit the bill. It calls for brains. It calls for skill in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. High-tech and the services go hand in hand. It's a whole new world. You're in demand in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. You'll move up. You'll feel proud. You'll stand out above the crowd in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. But most of all, you'll earn the respect of the people and country you're there to protect in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
For years now, we've been kidding Jim here about his eyesight. The fact is that Jim has the eyes of an eagle.
Thanks, Boog.
Why, he's one of the first guys to spot light beer from Miller. Saw right away that light tastes great and it's less filling.
Sure, all you have to do is read the label. It says light has 1/3 less calories than a regular beer.
I think you want this, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
As I was saying, it's as plain as the nose on your face.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Oh, I don't believe this.
It was moving day. Things were going great. Till the moving truck died at the toll booth gate. The troopers were glaring. Tempers were flaring.
Do I hear swearing?
What's more, it started to pour. The tow truck came and we gave a cheer. Then the cow slid out the rear. Now I know Ryder trucks are newer. They're tougher, they're strong. And driving a bargain sure didn't pay. So next time I'll think this way. It's Ryder or it's wrong.
Saturday.
When I start caring for a person, sometimes it turns out bad for me, and worse for them.
People are dying, and I keep finding you in the middle.
Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer.
At halftime, stay with us. Jim Kelly will be in New York to give us the Olympic results from Sarajevo and a preview of the NBA game between Boston and Philadelphia. The Sixers going to have to start to make their move. And then a feature on the year of the small man. I really enjoyed watching that, and what an impact they've had in college basketball. 3:24 left in the first half. A 4-point lead for Notre Dame. They've led by as many as 8. Both teams shooting well. DePaul 47%, Notre Dame 55%. However, DePaul's hit only 3 of their last 10 shots.
Gary, I would imagine during that timeout, the Diggers wanting to get Sluby open. There he is. They try to break him off a double team down low.
Sluby has hit 3 of 8.
He hadn't scored in 7 minutes, so and if Notre Dame's going to win this game, they got to get him off on
Boy,
track.
that was a big game in Lexington. Kentucky, boy, they put them away, didn't they? And Purdue continues to be one of the big surprises of the year. They are tied with Illinois for the Big Ten lead. 3 minutes to go in this first half. Oh, look at that pass by Patterson. Comagese can't get the roll.
Howard looks back and sees Corbin trailing him. Clever little ball player.
Remember now, he's only been playing since December.
Digger contacted him when down there in Memphis for the Liberty Bowl, let him know that realizing Duff was not going to be available. How would you like to play some basketball?
He changes things out there. That's what Ray told me. He said that he comes in, it's a different ball club, and you can see it. They get that toughness about him.
And he's got a lot of moxie.
Look at this.
Again, that time he put it up because he had to. DePaul's planning to pass.
Who's this going to be off of? It's going to be off of DePaul? Nope, Notre Dame. McMillan got hit in the mouth, and he's checking his... There's Rutgers after defeating Notre Dame, beating West Virginia. Temple's having an outstanding year.
They are another one of those quiet clubs that come NCAA tournament time, which they'll definitely be in. They're going to be tough for anybody to beat.
DePaul now is 0 for 4 in their last field goal attempts, 3 of 11, and they've been sitting on 21 now for longer than they'd like.
Only saving grace is that Notre Dame can't break out of there either. Being a good, patient team right here.
There is Holmes. Comagese is there. Oh. He's what you call a quick leaper.
He really is tough.
4 points for Comagese and cuts it to 2. Now here's Dolan. He'll handle the ball very well against the pressure. He's very intelligent. Gets it off to Sluby, and he's fouled by McMillan.
Now Sluby's starting to throw a few elbows into McMillan. McMillan's been doing a good job on him. And now it's a matter of getting tougher. Digger is hot.
He was hot yesterday, and he's just carried it over to today. He knows they need this game. He wants to get back into the NCAA tournament.
Gary, watching Notre Dame practice yesterday, they have a lot of nice kids. And they're not tough and fighting type. They look like very intellectual and very nice. And Digger, they're trying to force some attitude into them. May or may not come.
I tell you, this guy at the line's a tough guy, though, Sluby. That was the first point he had scored since the 10:48 mark. 26-23.
They need one nasty player, though. Just mix things up in practice.
You know, that's what they were saying about the football team, too. They were too nice of guys on the football team. 9 points for Sluby. 27-23. The pressure by the Irish. I don't know if you can pressure DePaul.
Yeah, I believe Digger doesn't want to do it as a standard situation, but he wants to do it just to go ahead and mix things up a little bit so that DePaul can't get used to playing against nothing but the 2-3 zone.
So Corbin cuts it back to a 2-point game. You see the time left in the first half.
It's the best defensive DePaul team I ever saw as far as overall team defense.
Oh, they blew something there, though. Dolan was wide open. Let's see if they give that to them. They give it to Rucker.
Yeah, Rucker on a tap.
Cecil Rucker on the missed shot. Corbin again.
Wide open.
Dolan with a rebound.
If Howard has the patience to pull it back out.
And he's fouled again, and Howard is causing a lot of problems. Comagese, the one that was guilty of the foul. That's his third.
And Howard, not having played a lot of basketball, that was a tough open court play for him to make the decision. Reminds me a lot of Sidney Lowe in regard to his court savvy.
Well, both from the D.C. area, Billy.
D.C. has been so good to Notre Dame. Austin Carr, Adrian Dantley, Bobby Whitmore, Duck Williams, Collis Jones. Boy, they've had St. Catlett, they've really had a pipeline, just like they talked about North Carolina's pipeline to New York City with Frank McGuire. Notre Dame's had that pipeline to D.C.
Comichees comes out with his third foul, a 1-and-1 for Howard. And Embry bats it over to Patterson.
Knocked everybody down.
Boy, is he a bull in there. 40 seconds left in this first half.
And again, remember, trying to keep the game under 60.
Patterson with a penetration, steal by Holmes. He just took it away from Jim Dolan.
Notre Dame want to go for one shot here. They need to get one shot, one only.
Howard, the football and basketball player, is interested to note that Paul Horning played both here. John Latner, Moose Krause, to name a few.
That'd be interesting if John Latner's son would get into the game today. He's playing for DePaul as a walk-on.
Patterson committing the foul, his second. DePaul picking up a lot of fouls now here in the last few seconds of the first half. A 1-and-1 into effect.
I thought that was the 7th. It looks like the officials aren't quite sure. Yeah, they've got it.
So again, Howard will be going to the free throw line.
Probably been smarter for Howard to keep the ball out of the offensive area, though. You want to get that last shot and go in with a lead.
He's shooting 62% for the year.
Even better hanging on. Possession of the ball was more important than going to that line.
The ball can tie it up. Look at Patterson handle the ball. It's like Marcus Haynes out there.
What kind of shot was that?
I don't know. And Ray Meyer would like to know, too. And that is the end of the first half of play. The Irish at halftime leading the DePaul Blue Demons 29-27. NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
All-Stars Julius Erving and Larry Bird will go head-to-head when the world champion Philadelphia 76ers renew their heated rivalry with the Boston Celtics tomorrow on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
Imagine a financial center with virtually every financial service you could need. A dream of the future? No, First Federal of Michigan today. Did you know that in addition to checking and savings accounts and home loans, you can now buy and sell stock at our brokerage centers? Use our drive-up windows and enjoy 24-hour teller convenience at many offices around the state. First Federal of Michigan, your center for family financial services.
1984 belongs to your Toyota dealer.
Nobody else.
Nobody else has 16 all-new truck models. Nobody else has an all-new extra cab with more head, leg, and shoulder room than Toyota's ever had. And nobody else has electronic fuel-injected sport trucks. This EFI 4-cylinder Toyota SR5 outperforms these competitors' optional V6s. 84's our year, all right. See your Toyota dealer now.
Nobody else can give you the feeling. Toyota.
Join me with Kirk Gibson and Thomas Hearn, Saturday night at 6:30 on Channel 2.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Jim Kelly. Welcome back to our New York studios. For those of you who might have missed it earlier, the results from Sarajevo. The dream of another miracle on ice for our American hockey team officially over today with a 3-3 tie against Norway. The Americans now virtually no chance. In fact, their record, no victories, 2 losses, 1 tie, 2 games left, no chance for the medal round. Big story, it too, depressing for the Americans today, occurred in the 70-meter jumping portion of the Nordic combined. American Pat Ahern of Breckenridge, Colorado, had been in first place when 2 of his jumps were disallowed by the judges. Brett Musburger in Sarajevo asked Ahern why he had to jump over.
It was just because one of the skiers went past the critical point, which is 90 meters on the hill here in Sarajevo. And last year we skied in the competition where we skied at 93 meters was a long jump, and we continued the competition. But for some reason, the jury decided to start the competition over, and so we had to go up and take 2 extra jumps, where normally we only take 3. We ended up taking 5 actually in the competition.
That isn't fair.
It's really unusual, too. I've seen him call back 1 ride, but never 2. And especially in our circumstances, we had 95% of the competition over, and there's only 3 guys left. And there's only one of them who had a chance at all. And for some reason, they decided to start it over, which really took the U.S. in the shorts.
American Pat Ahern finishing 16th, virtually erasing his hopes for a medal tomorrow. Last night in Los Angeles, Soviet pole vaulter Sergei Bubka set a new world indoor best. Here it is as he clears the bar. Watch it, 19 feet, 1 1/2 inches up and over. He did it. Also in that meet, American Billy Olson cleared 19 feet. So that's the first time ever two vaulters have broken the barrier in one meet. Tomorrow here on CBS, you'll see a rematch of this pole vaulting duel, along with such stars as Steve Scott, Joan Benoit, Don Page, and Carl Lewis, who will all be competing in the U.S. Olympic Invitational track meet. And then, live from Daytona, it's the Clash, a 50-mile pedal-to-the-metal sprint, and you'll see exclusive flag-to-flag coverage. And then, following the great stock car race, we'll take you again live to the Boston Garden, the big battle, a great rivalry between the Celtics and the 76ers. And yes, it's a confrontation even the players especially relish.
I think the 76ers and Celtics matchup is a preliminary for the World Championship.
We expect the classic because anytime we play, if we play in the Summer League, Philly and Boston, it'd be a classic.
We've got respect for them, and I'm sure they have respect for us, but, you know, when we get out on the floor, it's just a battle. It's a war.
Indeed, when Boston and Philadelphia meet, push often comes to shove. In this, one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. Tempers flared even in the preseason as the Sixers staged an early title defense.
The Philadelphia 76ers, Maurice Cheeks quiet, knows they're going to be the world champions, folks.
The title belongs to Philadelphia, but so far this season, it's the Celtics who are playing like world champions. First-year Celtic coach K.C. Jones has engineered a new spirit up in the Boston Garden, and the fast-breaking Celtics are off to the best record in the NBA.
I think the real difference right now is the fact that we are playing with the life. We feel like we're capable of winning, we're playing with confidence, and we're going out and making it happen.
The Sixers are trying to repeat as champions, a feat that no team has managed in 14 seasons. But injuries have slowed the team down and sent all-star Moses Malone to the sideline.
Injuries have hurt us. I think teams are playing a little bit higher level against us. I think we are not playing as well as we have in the past. We have mostly the same talent, but we're just going in different directions.
In addition to the team rivalries, the game features two all-star forwards, Julius Erving and Larry Bird.
Fans see that and say, watch Dr. J. Ooh, watch that one. Ooh, look at Larry on that one. Yeah, and meanwhile, as far as fans are concerned, the other guy's just out there to make up the rest of the team.
Next, coming up, back to basketball, the second half, Notre Dame and DePaul with the Irish leading the Blue Demons 29-27. We'll go back to Gary Bender and Billy Packer right after this.
To be better than the competition, it takes more than muscle. It takes skill. And Delta's crew of dedicated professionals work together to bring you a smooth flight on every flight. That's how Delta stands out. We push ourselves to the limit every day. To be a champion, it takes team spirit, and Delta is ready.
It's right, it's good, it's here. Papstil's the place. Papstil's the place. Oh, the real taste of beer and all the good times you have.
It's right here in this bottle. You can't find better than Pabst.
Papstil's the place. Friends all around. Papstil's the place.
The thing is, Pabst doesn't change. It's always good.
Oh, the real taste of beer. Papstil's the place.
When the curtain goes up in a lot of places in Atlantic City, it may seem to be the same old song and dance.
Go get 'em, girls.
It's not that way at the Sands when comedian Billy Crystal and the beautiful Judy and Audrey Landers debut the Copa Room February 16th through the 18th. When it comes to entertaining you, we don't play games.
A cargo plane was flying at 18,000 feet when the door opened and a 400-pound spinet piano disembarked. Mr. and Mrs. Weniger were deep in sleep when the spinet made an unauthorized landing. Fortunately, they had Century Plain Talk homeowners insurance, which clearly stated they were protected from fire, theft, storms, and flying pianos. If you own a home, call Century, where all's well, even when all isn't.
Halftime score, Notre Dame leading DePaul 29-27. You know, this has been a unique year in college basketball. The big men, Olajuwon, Ewing, Keith Lee, are as dominating as ever. But this is also the year of the small man. players who are under 6 feet tall but who are making giant contributions. Interestingly enough, this is not the first time that small men have played a large role. In 1957, North Carolina had 5'10" Tommy Kearns jump center in the championship game against University of Kansas center Wilt Chamberlain. Kearns lost the tip, but his team went on to win the title. Today, small men are still being used, but they do more than just shock the opposition. They're a vital part of the offense. Tyrone Bogues may just be 5'3", but his value cannot be measured in terms of height or points scored. He sparks his team while disrupting the opponent.
The other team stops to watch and marvel at the little guys, or they seem to break their offensive rhythm or the concentration that they have in the game.
Other small men are having big years. Boston College's Michael Adams is averaging 19 points per game, which is not bad for a player who is 5'11". Mention Memphis State, and you think of Keith Lee, but Andre Turner at 5'10" leads the team in assists and steals. Anthony Spud Webb at 5'7" is a junior college transfer to North Carolina State. When Jim Valvano first saw him, he had his doubts about Webb's ability.
I was cynical only from the standpoint of, sure, it's a tough game to play anytime. And it's when you're 5'7", it would appear to be even tougher, but he has proven that wrong, both to me and I think to the country.
Quickness and desire make up for a lack of height. Webb is not out there to amuse the fans.
It's a challenge playing against taller people. They try to underestimate you, and you take advantage of what they are trying to do, and then you make something happen. I just try to go out and play the game. Not looking for I guess a show. I'm looking for a different kind of show. I'm talking about a show of performance on the floor.
At times, the lack of height can be frustrating, but Webb does not consider himself handicapped in either basketball or in life.
I don't have no regrets. Talking about too short, he's not normal, but I think I'm normal than anybody else.
Webb and his team have now won 7 straight. If the Wolfpack makes it to the championship game again, would Coach Valvano allow Spud Webb to jump center on the opening tip like Tommy Kearns did in 1957?
If we make the championship game this year, I'll jump center. Forget about Spud. You'll see me out there in my wingtips jumping center.
The smallest guy, as far as we know, is Zach Lieberman at U.S. International. He is 5 feet 2.5 inches.
How about Virginia today winning over Louisville? Ricky Stokes played a part in that game, not even having seen it, because he's always in the thick of things defensively.
So a new trend, the small man in college basketball. We'll be back to take a look at the statistics and our CBS shot chart in a moment.
Introducing the amazing Renault Encore. Look how it feels to mold to the road with 4 wheels suspended independently. Feel it flow through hairpin curves. Look how the new Encore feels as it almost ignores gas pumps and provides front-wheel drive for extraordinary cornering. For an amazing 57-55 European design built in America, the new Renault Encore. Amazing.
The one to watch, the one to watch, the one to watch.
Renault.
Before your beautiful rocker became a rocker, a skilled craftsman had to select every board, shape every form, fit every piece. Now it's your turn. Time to stain. No time for trip-ups. So depend on Carver Trip. Carver Trip Stain is formulated so the coverage is always uniform, the color always consistent. Carver Trip. No trip-ups.
Now you owe me $4 million, Dad.
$3 million.
Want to go double or nothing? Bet you my deodorant's stronger than yours.
Oh, you'll lose. My deodorant's Old Spice.
Well, mine's new, improved Old Spice.
New improved Old Spice with 25% more odor fighters, extra strong, and lasts all day long. Helps keep you smelling fresh long into the night.
Hey, you're right. That new Old Spice is still working.
New improved Old Spice, extra strong, lasts long.
I owe you $6 million.
8, Dad.
There's a power tool made by Black & Decker only professionals even know about. A tough, durable tool that represents some of the finest engineering in the industry. It's called the Professional Cut Saw. The lightest saw ever built with both orbital and reciprocal cutting actions. A brilliantly designed, impeccably manufactured piece of industrial equipment built for the pro. In other words, built like a Black & Decker.
CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball continues after this word from your local station.
Sunday on the Four Seasons, can Danny and his friends survive a wild weekend in the country?
Even the bear won't eat your mother's chicken. Too much garlic.
This is CBS.
When you think about it, if you don't deserve the best, who does?
Come to think of it, I'll have a Heineken.
$5 bargain transmission tune-up special, please.
Of course, plus a fluid charge, a parts charge, and a fine print charge.
Why wasn't I loyal to Royal?
Hi, I'm Wesley the Bee. Roses, $18.95 a dozen. Credit cards, call 273-8590. Wesley Berry Florist in Detroit and West Bloomfield.
A $390 one-way drop-off charge? Nobody mentioned that.
I'm sorry. We're sorry. So sorry. So sorry. Please accept my apology.
Only National guarantees one-way rentals with unlimited free mileage for only $10 a day more than our regular low rates. Guaranteed. And if we don't deliver, you'll get $50 off your next rental. We give you national attention, and that's the truth.
Ageless and active people, Saturday on PM Weekend.
Today's game between the DePaul Blue Demons and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame is sponsored by Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. And by Bud Light, the light beer with a taste that's satisfying, but never filling.
Halftime, Notre Dame leading second-ranked DePaul 29-27 as you check statistically in this first half of play. DePaul shooting better than they have in the previous two games, 44. Notre Dame has to be pleased with their field goal percentage, but DePaul continues to be haunted at the free throw line.
They really do, Gary, and there you see those field goal percentages up there. You've got to shoot over 50% if you're DePaul, particularly as well as you take that ball on the inside. Look at those free throw percentage.
Now let's go to the CBS shot chart. Billy, we have something that's kind of interesting. You wanted to show on the shot chart how Notre Dame is dictating the shots that DePaul takes in certain areas.
Well, good defensive strategy. Anytime you play against DePaul, you try to take away what they've got on the inside by packing your defense right in there, because that's where they like to score. Then, unusual for most teams, DePaul likes to play in the sides. And you can see from today, they've taken a lot of shots from the sidelines. They very seldom like to shoot from the top of the key. Today, from the top of the key, they are 3 out of 7. From the sidelines, they're 1 out of 10. So you can see that they're not getting that perimeter shooting, and that's what's really been haunting them in the last couple of ball games. So today, with they're shooting as a ball club here in the first half, 12 for 27. But from the points on the perimeter, they're only shooting 4 for 17.
And that was something that Digger went through in great detail yesterday. He was talking about those areas.
He said we're going to take away the inside on the block first, then we go ahead and take away the sideline shot, and we give them the shot from the top of the key. And so far, DePaul has not been able to hit that perimeter shot.
In the first half, Notre Dame had the biggest lead of 8. Last tied up at 13 all, and right now, DePaul inbounds the ball down by 2.
Notre Dame really packing it. You can see it right there on your screen. They're packing it back in and giving up that perimeter shot. McMillan finally hits one.
McMillan, he seems to get them started so often in both the first and second halves. He got the bounce, and it's all even. The 5th tie of the game.
McMillan's been doing a real job on Sluby. Notre Dame's got to figure out a way to get Sluby open here in the start of this second half.
Digger Phelps has come back in with JoJo Buchanan at the point guard. Howard played most of the first half, and there is Sluby.
That was just one-on-one.
11 points, and here comes some debris on the floor again. Another
should be
roll of paper.
All they need to do is call one technical foul, announce it before the game, and that'll eliminate that. It's ridiculous.
The Irish back on top by 2. Embry will inbound.
Remember last year, Gary, in the start of the NCAA, James Madison, maybe it was 2 years ago, James Madison threw everything out on the floor in North Carolina. The cheerleader ran out there.
That was last year.
Was it last year? And almost got very seriously hurt.
And it goes to Holmes. Dolan was in his face, but Holmes was there, and it's tied up again. Holmes with 7 points for the afternoon. Boy, this is some rivalry. The 67th meeting between these two. DePaul has won the last 3.
Buchanan much more aware of Patterson now than he was at the start of the ball game.
Look at Corbin pick up Dolan.
Corbin is very versatile defensively. He can guard a man taller or smaller. Kind of unusual to find a guy like that. Good screen.
Dolan in trouble. Corbin got it away from him. And DePaul trying to take their first lead of the game, and it's going to be off of Notre Dame.
And Digger is now all the way down on this end of the court, screaming at the officials. Paul off to a pretty good second half start. If they score here, Notre Dame's got to do something to slow this game down a little bit.
One thing that Ray Meyer said we had to have was patience, and they're showing it right now.
Good ball fake by Embry. DePaul trying to go inside. See, Notre Dame's backed on in there. There are 10 men in the lane. 8 men, excuse me. You got 2 fellas playing the perimeter for DePaul.
McMillan, Patterson looked like he had the shot. What a pass. Embry, and that's the first lead of the game now for DePaul.
One more score for DePaul coming down, and Digger's going to have to think real seriously about changing up a little bit, maybe even calling a timeout. DePaul starting to go inside well.
Nice pass, Buchanan to Dolan. It'll count, and he's fouled by Holmes. Second foul on Holmes.
Real nice backdoor cut by Dolan, and a real good pass by Buchanan as he sat right down and got it through there on the bounce. Dolan a little sloppy on the catch, but you got to like him as a ball player. Excellent player that comes into the ball game, maybe not a superstar, but very nice complimentary player.
That's the comment that Ray Meyer said. We don't have any superstars either. They've got guys that interchange very well. Ray said this is the most fun he's ever had coaching a ball club. They're very close-knit. On the other hand, both these teams are going to return almost intact. They're young ball clubs.
Oh, Corbin did not see the ball coming. Just athletic ability turned him around there.
There's McMillan again. Boy, they are tough up there, aren't they? And who's this one against? Looks like it's going to go against Notre Dame. Royal.
What's happening now, the bodies of DePaul are just so physical on the inside, and Notre Dame's players are trying to get position, getting knocked out of the way.
Digger did not like that call, obviously.
Yeah, he just working the officials there.
Royal with his first personal foul. 33 all at the 17:28 mark of the second half.
There better be a man in there.
And Patterson is fouled by Buchanan. They are just relentless. They just keep coming at you. They keep hammering you. That will be the 3rd foul on JoJo Buchanan.
Interesting, the different philosophies of these two clubs. Here's a score coming up.
That was an overtime.
Missouri having some problems here of late. But Gary, you've got Digger.
Boy, Don Monson's really doing a good job.
Hey, what a weekend for Don Monson. He beats UCLA and Pauley, and then goes over and beats Southern Cal on their court.
2 shots coming now for Kenny Patterson.
The point I was going to make, Digger's had 11 different starting lineups this year with the ball club that he's got. Ray, with his deepest bench ever, has had the same starting lineup at every game. So there's a lot of ways to skin a cat.
That will be tipped up by Embry and rebounded by Holmes.
Look at the pushing.
And the foul again on Notre Dame, and Embry is just pushing people out of there.
What's happening is the DePaul players are just taking excellent room on the inside, and in order to get in there, the weaker Notre Dame players physically just can't move them out of the way.
And there's Sluby pleading his cause.
And there we got the call by the kids that are in the agriculture department.
Sluby with his 3rd foul. And that's what this team will do. They'll just out-physical you inside. McMillan rebound by Dolan.
And here's, of course, where Notre Dame really could use Tim Kempton, because he's the kind of guy who can bang in there with him.
Sluby. Sluby is only 3 of 8 in the first half. Patterson. Oh, nice play.
And Notre Dame's got to come down and be a little bit more patient with the ball, Gary. They don't want to get into a game where they're going to come down and take 1 or 2 passes and shoot it up.
Biggest lead of the game for the Blue Demons by 3, 7 points for Kenny Patterson.
You can see Digger right now. He's wanting to go ahead and tempo his game a little bit more. Good idea. Now, DePaul with the lead. Remember in the first half, they were behind by 3 and went to the zone. And Digger pulled it back out, made them go man-to-man. Now DePaul gets the lead and goes to the zone. And Digger can't afford to do that.
And that'll be a reach in on McMillan. No, it's further inside. They spotted Embry doing something. It's 2 on Embry. Let's go back to Patterson.
Here's a fast break. Kenny Patterson handles the break as well as anybody in college basketball. Comes down, realizes pretty good defense by Sluby on the other side, and just makes his move. Excellent cut and layup.
The complete player, the complete playmaker for the DePaul team. That foul on Embry was his second. Notre Dame will inbounds, down by 3, and another push-off. This time it's on Holmes, and they're starting to call those.
Well, you wonder why Holmes was doing it in that position. The ball was so far away from him, his man was no threat.
That's 3 on Kevin, and Ray Meyer is yelling down, getting the attention of his players. They've got things going now. Just hang in there.
Now, Sluby and Gray Hollers down there. Who's calling this game, ref? You or Digger? Digger just smiled.
Digger has him at his end right now, and he's working on him. He's chewing on him. 3 fouls on Buchanan and Sluby, 3 on Holmes and Comegys.
And there's DePaul in that 2-3 zone. Hoping Notre Dame will put up a lot of shots because they have superior rebounding power.
They approach 16 minutes to go in the game. Here is Dolan. Dolan always seems to balance the floor up so well. Always seemingly open, and Royal couldn't follow the miss.
Big miss.
3 on 2, and Howard is going to draw the charge. Patterson committing the foul. Very heads-up play by Joe Howard.
And there's that good athletic ability on the part of Joe Howard. Patterson's pretty tough to stop here. Good outlet pass. Kenny Patterson on his way. Now let's see, is Howard set?
Oh, I don't know, huh? Was he?
Shifting on over there.
Well, that's 3 on Patterson. He is the 3rd Blue Demon with 3 personal fouls. 15:48 to go. The Blue Demons by 3.
You're across the aisle. Second cabin.
Every night, Flight 207 is readied for its trip across the Atlantic. Bill loads 200,000 pounds of fuel. Ed makes sure there are enough meals on board. And the ground crew always manages to squeeze on the cargo. But tonight, it's carrying something more.
And Captain, all the Olympic team stuff's on board.
Tonight, they know Flight 207 is carrying our nation's hope. A hope that one day all nations will come to see that the true measure of the Olympics is not in the winning, but discovering the best in all of us.
There's a lot of low-priced trucks out there, but this one's the best truck value. Mazda B2000 Sundowner. At $57.95, it's the only economy truck with a 5-speed, steel-belted radials, tinted glass, and full carpeting, all standard, which also happens to make it the lowest-priced truck in America with all that standard equipment.
Sakes alive. Sakes alive. Sakes alive. Mazda's got the best truck value for just $57.95.
Sakes alive.
Ray Meyer was upset during that break. He feels the foul situation has been a little extreme. 2 independent teams here, Billy. A lot of people have said, what's happened to the independents? DePaul will make it to the NCAA tourney. Right now on the edge is Notre Dame, and how many more have a shot at it?
Well, not very many, Gary, and a lot of people have to realize a lot of people have gone into leagues. The Big East at one time, you know, all those teams were independent, so really it's not that the independents have gone totally down the tube in basketball. It's the fact that a lot of them have joined conferences.
South Carolina, the latest, going into the Metro Conference. DePaul by 3.
You know, DePaul had momentum going in that man-to-man. It's kind of surprising as soon as they got the lead, they went zone because it helps if Notre Dame tempo the ball a little bit.
And they got those fouls inside that really upset Ray.
Another reason to be in the zone, too, is to protect your players and not get into more foul trouble.
A foul situation of utmost importance as far as DePaul is concerned. They have Holmes, Patterson, and Comegys with 3 each.
Stay right in that 2-3 zone. A lot of quickness out there in Patterson and McMillan. There you go. Talking about quickness.
Tyrone Corbin, Dolan is back, and Dolan is fouled him.
Dolan made the contact. Now, he never released the ball, did Corbin, but he was in the act of shooting.
There's what we were alluding to earlier. Notre Dame has 2 guys with 3. Now, Joseph Price is coming in for the Irish for the first time. Joe Howard will sit down. Now, Price is an excellent outside shooter.
Here's where I think it'd be an excellent idea for DePaul to press Notre Dame, and I'll tell you why. They took Howard out because they figured that DePaul's playing the zone. They need a better shooter. Price is that perimeter shooter, but they don't have a secondary ball handler in the game. Be an excellent time to go full court press against them.
Tyrone Corbin makes it 37-33. Corbin with 8 points. Tyrone hasn't taken a field goal shot in the second half. First half did not shoot all that well either.
Well, you see DePaul is not pressing. They're dropping back in the zone. Would have been a real good opportunity for DePaul there.
38-33. The Blue Demons' biggest lead of the game.
You can see who's out playing the point is Sluby and Dolan.
But Dolan is like a point guard because he sees the floor so well. And now here comes Cecil Rucker in, and Royal will lead.
Now this is the biggest team that Notre Dame can put on the floor with Timmy Kempton out.
Sluby to inbounds. Here's Price. Price out of Marion, Indiana, the same high school that produced James Blackman, who's playing at Kentucky now. Price needs to hit that first or second shot because he's a streak shooter. If he starts hitting them, he can really be tough.
That's tough to come off that bench and do that, though, Gary. Now you can see Price throws it away. Just got to get in the flow of the game first before he starts worrying about shooting.
10 turnovers against the Irish. Holmes, boy, that's a tough catch by Corbin.
Fans getting into it. Notre Dame with a big team out there in the zone. DePaul still wanting to go inside.
Boy, Patterson always dealing and shuffling the ball off. Holmes, rebound.
Great rebound. What a great rebound.
9 points for Holmes. Joe, Embry and Holmes play so much alike inside. Big, strong, 7-point lead. Digger Phelps wants timeout.
And we see that rebound on the inside. Now, Corbin not hitting that jumper. But look at Holmes go up between the players and put it right back up inside. What power.
7-point lead now for DePaul.
Okay, just sit down and get back.
Budweiser salutes the coaches and trainers of the 1984 U.S. Olympic team.
Set up and a good follow-through. Clean, Judy. Fight it hard. Don't let me catch you. Don't let me catch you.
A couple runs in the back. Running it off. That should give you a little bit quicker time through the gate.
That's okay, Jerry. We'll get him tomorrow. Good extension. Head up.
To the U.S. Olympic coaches and trainers, the team behind the team, this Bud's for you.
Experience Mazda.
You might expect the Mazda GLC to be an exceptional economy car. Its interior is one of the roomiest in its class. Standard features include 5-speed overdrive, split fold-down rear seats, even radial tires. You might also expect the front-wheel drive GLC to offer good value. But you might not expect performance like this. The more you look, the more you like.
The Mazda Experience.
To endure, to adapt, to overcome. The Xerox 1075 Marathon Copier. Designed to be versatile with a choice of 20 configurations. Engineered with the intelligence of 6 personal computers to perform at peak levels at all times. And built to endure. The 1075, one of the Marathon Copiers. From Team Xerox, official sponsor of the 1984 Olympics.
Coverage of Daytona Speed Weeks begins tomorrow with a 50-mile sprint called the Clash of '84 and continues next Sunday with the Daytona 500 live on CBS Sports.
Special day for Ray Meyer and one of his former coaches here today.
Gary, Barney Barnes, he's now a judge in Chicago, was one of the great all-time early players in the game of basketball, supposed to be one of the great shooters of all time. He was Ray Meyer's high school coach, but more importantly, he was the guy that DePaul wanted as the head coach back in the days when they finally hired Ray, and he's the guy that recommended Ray for the job. Isn't it amazing? Had he taken a job, he wouldn't be passing out those tickets in Chicago.
Barlow misses, has his own rebound. Look at him go for it. It's off of McMillan. Boy, that's great hustle on the part of Ken Barlow.
Digger asking for a foul against DePaul, but if you're going to play against DePaul, you got to be willing to scrap. There's going to be some contact.
Notre Dame has gone a long time without scoring any points, over 4 minutes. In the last 5 possessions, they've turned the ball over 3 times, so they need to get something to go down.
It's really tough, too. Sluby, their lead scorer, is out here at the point, not where he's best adjusted to play.
That was kicked by DePaul, and the Irish will inbounds.
Might not be a bad idea to take a guy like Dolan, put him up at the point, and put Sluby on the foul line just to get him the ball where he can score.
13 minutes, 18 seconds left in the game. Here's Sluby.
Foul line, there he is.
Sluby with 13. He's averaging 16.5 for the year. 40-35, DePaul. They went 4 minutes and 25 seconds without scoring before that last shot by Sluby.
Patterson did a good job splitting people in the zone to get those passing lanes open. Notre Dame backed up now inside like 12, 13 feet. Jump shots really available from the top of the key, but that's not what DePaul wants.
Yeah, Dolan and Embry are really having a battle inside there, too.
Kenny Patterson's passing up 16-foot jump shots.
And yet, when the game's on the line, he'll take those shots, as he did against St. John's a week ago. Now they're making some adjustments. Joey Meyer and Ray Meyer up, yell instructions in. Holmes in trouble, and we're going to have a foul. Foul will go on Jim Dolan.
Holmes is just so strong inside. A weaker guy that had that ball knocked out of his hands. He got called for a walking violation, but he's just so strong.
Joey Meyer, and as you look at Digger Phelps, he's the guy that will be taking over next year when Ray steps down. And interested as to what kind of personality DePaul will have next year with Joey as the head man.
Now, Gary, you know what's interesting, like the UCLA job, everybody talked about the pressure, the Kentucky job, the pressure of taking over after Adolph Rupp. But how about the pressure being the son of the coach that leaves? It's an institution nationally. Tough.
Holmes gets one to go for him.
One big difference, however, Joey's been so much a part of that program in the recruiting of these players, and also in regard to what happens with their ball club during the course of a ball game.
There's what Holmes is looking into, and for a guy that struggles with the line, that doesn't help. 41-35, the Blue Demons with the lead.
Go!
Coming out on Sluby a little bit now.
Yeah. Well, see, he's playing out at the point, and it's tough for him to be in the area of getting off a good shot. Unless they can get the ball to somebody else and he can slide down into the foul line area.
There's Dolan, almost went out of bounds.
Nice catch. Bad shot.
Barlow doesn't get it. Rebound ripped away by Price. Boy, a lot of bodies flying around, and we're going to have a foul.
That's a foul. Now, Dolan fouled earlier. He had either Embry or Corbin right around the neck. We'll see this inside. Now, this is a bad shot by Barlow. No chance to make it. Now, watch Dolan. He's going to grab somebody right around the neck here. Right there. There you go. No foul on that play. That was not the foul. Can you believe that?
Looked like a goal line stand. I'll tell you, Digger Phelps is close to getting a technical. He has been down here twice, and the one official, Roger, told him to sit down or else.
He sure doesn't want that technical foul when his team has the ball. Patterson just content to keep the ball moving and let the clock wind on by.
That's a nice pass to Embry.
Amazing DePaul can get those shots off inside. Their guys are just so strong, even though Notre Dame's packed the zone back so far.
Biggest lead of the game now for the Blue Demons. 43-35, 11 minutes to go. Got to get the feeling that this game's going the way to Paul wants it now. Tempo-wise, there is Dolan.
Nice pass by Rucker.
Dolan with 6 points. He's given up some of his scoring to be a passer and playmaker, but he almost went backcourt on that.
Well, Notre Dame came out now in a 1-3-1. Now, it's going to be too much quickness for him to play that defense against this team.
Embry knocked Dolan back. No whistle, and Digger is really hot right now.
Patterson trying to get a little help. That Corbin, how often does he come over and make the big catch when a man's in trouble?
That was a batted away play by Price, and Price playing hard. The alternating held ball will go to Notre Dame, so Price.
Remember in our game last year, Gary, in Chicago, Notre Dame looked like they were apparently totally out of it. And Digger was one of the guys that brought him back. Look at him, backcourt. He's screaming at everything. St. Gabriel's High School, then University of Pennsylvania assistant, then to Fordham, and then on to Notre Dame.
Here's Sluby. He wants to shoot it.
And that's his spot. Foul line or in.
They're within 4 with 10 minutes to go.
DePaul may need a timeout a little bit. They're getting a little confused right here as Notre Dame changes their defense. Notre Dame in a 1-3-1 half-court trap now.
There's Holmes. He rebounds his own. Boy, they get those multiple shots on you. They just keep pounding the board. 12 points for Holmes. Alice Comegy's getting ready to come in now for DePaul. Sluby again, and he's going to take over now.
They're getting him in the shooting range.
He's at his seasonal average of 17. He just had a brilliant January. 7 20-point games. At 21 Monday night against Vermont.
Now, this particular defense will be effective for Notre Dame because they have good size in the ball game. The point guard is Price on defense, and he's tall. It's hard to get the ball cross court on him.
There's Digger. You can see him encouraging his team defensively. Reach in. Rutgers got it. Now this one will go to DePaul.
You can't fault anybody, though, for hustle. Rucker went right down on the floor for the ball.
Comegy's will come into the ball game now, and Embry will sit down. Rucker getting a chance to play. He hasn't played much this year, and he went after that one. McMillan inbounds. 8:42 left in the game. DePaul by 4.
Almost 5 seconds. Nice job by Comegy's to go out and create a passing lane.
Comegy's hasn't played that much. He's been in foul trouble.
Notre Dame stays in that 1-3-1. You can see it. You got to lob the ball over Price. Now somebody ought to get ready on that lob to break on out from the wing to try to steal the ball.
Price at 6'5". He's a big target out there to have to put that ball over.
Barlow and Sluby are on the wings.
Millen had a shot.
Pass.
Patterson. That'll be off of DePaul.
What DePaul's starting to get is a little passive offensively and not looking to score against this 1-3-1 trap.
That's right. McMillan, I thought, had the shot. Sluby in the second half now has hit 4 of 5. He's kind of given them the spurt they've needed. Oh, it's off of Dolan.
Dolan just took his eye off the pass. Came in there a little hot.
And we're going to have a timeout. 7 minutes, 58 seconds to go. DePaul on top by 4. CBS's coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
Can Carl Lewis smash Bob Beeman's incredible long jump record? Find out tomorrow when he and other Olympic hopefuls compete in the U.S. Olympic Invitational Indoor Track Meet on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
Consider the difference between these two health care plans. Both cover you when you're sick, but Independence also covers all your health care needs, including checkups, inoculations, plus unlimited office visits to our modern medical centers, staffed by virtually every type of medical specialist, and equipped with all the latest technologically advanced medical equipment. Ask your employer when you can declare your independence and bid the blues goodbye. Independence Health Plan, the health caring people.
Detroit area Olds dealers are celebrating GM's 75th anniversary with exclusive Diamond Anniversary Edition Cutlass Sierras and Supremes. Each is a value package offering extra features, including power antenna, stereo radio, and tilt wheel, all at an attractive price. And each carries this commemorative medallion. The supply is limited, so choose yours soon. The Diamond Anniversary Cutlasses, only from the real people and only while they last.
Next Saturday, most of the country will be in Houston to see the 4th-ranked Houston Cougars against the Virginia Cavaliers. And this man, Othell Wilson, what a senior year he is having for Terry Holland and the Virginia Cavaliers. But the Houston Cougars ranked number 4. Reed Geddes, the outstanding assist man to Akeem the Dream. That's at 2 o'clock Eastern. And then those of you on the West Coast will see UCLA at Stanford at 3 o'clock Pacific time. Virginia, a big win today, and going down to Houston, that'll be a good ball game.
I remember last year they played over in Japan without Ralph Sampson, and that was the last game Houston lost prior to going into the Final Four against North Carolina State.
A 4-point lead for DePaul. We have 7 minutes, 55 seconds left of the game.
Gary, on our theory that Notre Dame is a winner if they keep the game in below 60, right now DePaul is below the mark that they need to go ahead and be on that move to be over 60.
Notre Dame allowing teams just over 54 points a game. That's 5th in the nation.
Obviously, they've gotten their tempo. DePaul looks like they're pretty much in control of what they're doing right now, too, although they've gotten passive offensively, not looking to score lately.
Well, I tell you, Price is really causing some problems out there.
He is that.
Patterson.
Not even close again.
Comagese reaching over. It's off of Comagese. The Irish will have it. That was almost picked up his 4th foul.
It doesn't look that way, Gary. Looks like they're giving the ball to DePaul.
They are giving it to DePaul.
Gary, you made a good point before about Kenny Patterson. How does he always hit him dead center when the game is on the line? It doesn't look like he could throw one in the ocean on a jump shot otherwise.
He wants the ball. You got to have a guy like that on your ball club. Here he is. He missed that last one, and they're able to retrieve it. Inside 7 minutes of the game now.
This is not a total delay. The ball looking to get something going inside. It's just not there.
There it is. Corbin.
Some athlete.
He's in double figures now with 11 points.
I believe he got hit on the top of the head. He's grabbing the top of his head. Might have got an elbow there.
He got the basket. 47-41. Rice to Dolan.
Sluby had a chance to fill in the middle. There he goes.
Sluby was 4 or 5 before that shot in the second half.
Sluby was just a little late going backdoor. He could have filled in the hole and had a much easier jump shot. Here's that 1-3-1 half court again by Notre Dame, and with Price at the top of the key, he's causing some problems.
Less than 6 minutes to go. They let him play a little bit. That's been characteristic of the Big Ten, and the Big Ten officials operating this game.
For those that didn't check us at the beginning of the ball game, started out this game with only one official on the court.
Comagese, he stripped to the ball. Rucker got it.
Held the ball over his head. One of those freshman mistakes.
Boy, Sluby wants somehow to launch one here.
Well, Gary, as I mentioned before, you can put Sluby on the foul line.
That's charging on Barlow.
No place to go against the zone.
He's tried that a couple of times. That's his 3rd foul.
The problem is the Digger going back with a smaller lineup now. You see Sluby being frustrated. Good defense by McMillan, staying right with him. When Barlow gets the ball, he just drives it on into the pack. And obviously against the zone, there are going to be people in there waiting on you.
Now we have a couple of changes. You mentioned Howard coming in, but also coming in for the first time is Scott Hicks. Number 10, there he is, a freshman out of Indianapolis.
Now we've seen Notre Dame change their strategy defensively when they put in this smaller lineup. They can't go to that 1-3-1. 10 seconds here.
They're after Patterson, but he broke it by himself. Holmes. Oh, they're coming after him now with Howard and Hicks outside. We approach 5 minutes to go. Hicks almost had the steal. Look at Patterson. The Comagese. Holmes. Kevin Holmes bumps it back. The 49-41 lead. A 14-point game for Holmes.
Now Sluby's out of the ball game right now. You wonder where Notre Dame's going to get any points.
We may have to have a timeout. We've got debris on the floor down here at this end. Ray Meyer trying to get the officials' attention. They're trying to clean it up at the same time, and we have a foul. See who's under that top pile there. We'll tell you who it is.
The fumble. It's Howard. refereeing, he's coaching, he's praying, he's doing it all. And that was after the shot on the inside. Digger wanted everything he could get and finally asked for a walking call.
That was all on tape. Now we go back to live, and this is live. Ray Meyer up very much alive.
He looks like he's ready to retire, doesn't he? Yeah. He's not in the ball game at all.
That was a foul on the McMillan. He was the guy underneath this second. 5 team fouls. Kluby had it batted away, and McMillan has picked up another one.
I think it's called on Patterson.
Is it?
Yeah. McMillan raised his hand, but the referees are pointing to Patterson.
Yeah, he tried to get Jim Bain decoyed there, and it didn't work. So Patterson now has 4 fouls.
Pretty good thinking on the part of McMillan's part for the simple reason he knows Patterson's more important in the delay game.
Well, they don't want to lose Patterson down the stretch, the way he handles the ball.
And everybody calling to say Sluby was in the act of shooting here. Now Digger is starting to go ahead and substitute offense and defense. The officials are going to say no. No active shooting.
What he's done is brought Price back in and Rucker in and takes Howard and Hicks out of there.
He's been motioned into the game. I want him in the game. I want these people.
Uh-oh, he's not going to allow that. Jim Bain says he can't make that change.
What happened is Digger thought there was a foul called that would have put his team on the line to shoot. Therefore, he's changing his offense and defense personnel-wise, depending on whether he's got the ball or doesn't have the ball, and Bain won't let him sneak a man in there.
So what it amounts to is Howard and Hicks are still in there.
Barlow walked, got away with it.
Barlow keeps trying to drive in against that zone. There's little Joe Howard.
How can he be so wide open? Right in the middle.
Look at this.
Oh,
Corbin's out of there with it. Patterson. And that was rejected.
Now we're getting things out of the stands all over the place.
Well, it was happening the other time down the floor, too.
Official calls timeout saying it's my timeout.
And Digger's saying, please don't do that. He's up pleading with the crowd now.
DePaul made a basket, but it will not count. The official called the timeout before that situation. He's going to ask for an announcement that the next time anything comes out on the floor, he wants a technical.
Ray is wanting someone to say something on the PA. He's over here now. Here's Digger. He's going to do that.
Wait a second. Don't lower your level. Show class. We'll still win the game.
Some rivalry, isn't it?
Well, Digger has had the advantage over Ray. Talk about a guy being a competitor.
4:02 to go, an 8-point lead for DePaul.
Son of an undertaker.
And now DePaul calls timeout. Corbin could not find a man open, so he used the timeout. And we're going to take a break. Some emotion running high here, as anticipated. 2 independents, 2 excellent Catholic schools.
I just got a sporty truck priced like some base trucks. The Mazda B2000 SE5. Look, it comes standard with a 5-speed overdrive, steel-belted radials and spoker wheels, sporty stripes, a step bumper, even dual sport mirrors. Pretty sporty for just $59.95.
Sakes alive. Sakes alive. Only Mazda's got a sporty truck with just $59.95.
There. You want to try something tough? Try taking this check to a widow with young kids. I've had to do it twice. You can imagine how I would have felt had I not kept in touch over the years and made sure that that check did what I told them it would. I wouldn't be able to face them. That's why I like being a State Farm agent. When we write life insurance, we work together with people and do it right.
And like a good neighbor.
And staying in touch keeps it right.
State Farm is there.
Kathy Adams on Kathy Adams.
Maybe some people think I got where I am today because of luck. But what's so lucky about a job that you eat, sleep, and think about 24 hours a day? I want to be the best news person, not newswoman in Detroit. And I know what it takes to do it. And it isn't luck.
George Sells, Kathy Adams, and the Channel 2 news team at 6 and 11.
What's happening?
We put more into it, so you get more out of it.
Julius Erving and Larry Bird will go head-to-head when the world champion Philadelphia 76ers renew their heated rivalry with the Boston Celtics tomorrow on CBS Sports.
The two coaches, Ray Meyer said last night, I have so many friends here, but he says during the game we're at war, and that's exactly what it's amounted to. Prior to this game, Ray was given a picture, given a coat. His wife Marge was out there and greeted most hospitably by this Notre Dame team, and also Digger Phelps got up and said, we love you, Ray, but we want to beat you. And that's just about the bottom line of this whole game.
He blows a little air out there and sits back down next to Joey. You know, his senior year, he was the captain, as you mentioned at the top of the show, captain 2 years, but his senior year, he sat on the bench. He did not get to play. Played with a national championship team in his sophomore year, then was a starter as a junior, but only scored 13 points his entire senior year at Notre Dame.
DePaul now with less than 4 minutes to go, hanging on to an 8-point lead. Comegys, boy, that's going to count, and he is fouled.
That was some soft touch. Everybody's been banging in there all afternoon, and Comegys goes in there so soft. He really didn't want to take this ball to the hoop when he first got it. Pretty good defense on him. Makes a change off the pass. Puts it down. Watch how soft he lays this ball up.
Foul going on Barlow, number 44, his fourth.
That's some touch. Now, I think he has grown since we saw him before. I know he's going to be a 7-footer. He's going to be a great, great college player.
They list him at 6'9". He looks taller, those long arms.
Oh, yeah. It seems like he's getting bigger all the time.
52-41. DePaul, his biggest lead. They brought Sluby back in during that break in the action, along with Price. Sluby forcing the issue again. McMillan has fouled him.
Hey, Gary, that's what I was talking about. See, you put Sluby on that foul line or get him to the foul line area. That's where he can score so well, because he can hit the jumper and he drives in. He can use either hand, and he's very powerful.
3 fouls on McMillan. Now, again, some changes. Howard in. Royal will come in. They wanted to bring Hicks in, but instead, Sluby's at the free throw line. So he's going with his quick team, and then he goes back to his offensive team.
Defensive team and offensive team. The coaches figure at this point in the game, there are going to be a lot of stops of the clock. They'll be able to get fellas in and substitute liberally.
Mike Swanson, our statistician, pointed out that Notre Dame now has gone 5 minutes and 49 seconds without scoring. It came at a very inopportune time as far as the Irish are concerned. That cuts it to 10.
Well, they made up about 8 points last year in a minute and a half to close that gap, and then all of a sudden Patterson hit that jumper and they're rising, so maybe they can do it again.
18 points for Sluby.
Why is he a poor free throw shooter?
I don't know. I don't know. Shooting 56%. Almost didn't get that in time, and then Royal going after the ball has committed the foul.
Now, you notice what DePaul tried to do there. They tried to run McMillan out of bounds so that he could go ahead and throw the ball cross-court out of bounds. Called a foul on the reach.
On Donald Royal out of the New Orleans area. You know, Royal played, Billy, on the same high school team with Benoit Benjamin, the outstanding player for Creighton.
Now, Digger has got a substitute back. Yeah, he just gave the signal there. Had to get his offensive players in the game.
Here comes the offense. You talk about specialization. Barlow, Dolan, and Price come in. Hicks, along with Royal, come out.
Ray hasn't gone to the bench much today. Basically has stayed with that starting 5 with the exception of Comegys. Had Jackson in very sparingly in the first half, and that's about the only substitution that he had.
Gordon misses. Notre Dame's got to make a move now with 3.5 minutes to go. Sluby would like to put one up from anywhere. Rucker blocked by Comegys. Rucker again. Boy, what an effort by Rucker, and Holmes has committed the foul. That's 4 on Holmes.
And here comes the defensive squad into the game. Now they're catching on. Hicks just a freshman. And Digger told, now you go in for defense, and Hicks is starting to realize now the minute that it changes hands, he's to go out on the court and report. What you have to worry about here, Gary, is a player running out in the court and failing to report at the scorer's table.
Get the technical foul. There's the record for freshmen, and he'll eventually get the school record of Dave Corzine. It's inevitable.
Corzine was first-round draft choice. Went with Washington. We mentioned in an earlier game this year, Bill Robezine was in 75 first-rounder, and Mark Aguirre, and then Terry Cummings. 4 first-rounders Ray has had in recent history.
Had those superstars, which he doesn't have this time. 52-44. Patterson playing with 4 personal fouls.
And this is a young DePaul team.
Comegys has hammered that time, and the foul's going to go on Royal.
Well, you're looking at a ball club without any seniors out there. McMillan being the only one, excuse me, but it's a very young ball club, so next year DePaul is really going to be tough.
On the other hand, Notre Dame has only 1 starting senior, and that's Sluby, 2 on the entire team. It's the first time, Billy, that DePaul has had a starting lineup with nobody from the state of Illinois. Corbin from South Carolina, Holmes from California, Embry from Michigan, Patterson from Queens, and McMillan from New Jersey. They're leaving the door open, missing those free throws. DePaul now as a team is 8 of 17.
Only shooting 62% on the year. That'll come back to haunt you in a tough ball game.
53-44. Time 3:08 to go.
Notre Dame can't afford to bring the ball up the court so slowly. Wasting 8-10 seconds.
Sluby was jawing with the official for some reason. Oh, nice touch. Sluby went 21.
Good job by DePaul to attack that press and go right on in there for the score if they can get it. Notre Dame playing man-to-man. Price didn't realize it. Now he has a man.
And we're going to have a foul on Patterson. He's fouled out of the ball game, and he's also injured himself.
Dolan drew the charge away from the ball.
He is shaken up. His right leg is hurting him, but he's run out of eligibility. He will leave at the 2:36 mark.
Probably be Jackson into the ball game now, but you know, you lose a lot of things with Patterson. He's limping very severely right now, but they lose their ball handler. How about McCoy? McCoy's a possibility. Hadn't been in the ball game yet.
That's who's coming. You guessed that one. He likes to have Raymond McCoy in there. He's an excellent ball handler. In fact, one thing I wrote down about McCoy is Ray says we like to have him in late in the game, so here he comes.
And he's got his shirt hanging out on the side here. You know, Raymond McCoy as a high school senior, and this was nationally known. It was a matter of who would you rather have, Raymond McCoy or Isaiah Thomas, and there were a lot of questions going 50-50. Raymond McCoy went out to San Francisco, really bloated up, wasn't satisfied out there, came back home, and everybody knows what happened to Isaiah Thomas.
Dolan makes it 53-47. The Irish aren't dead yet.
Oh, no.
7 points for Kim. I sure like this young guy. Very bright young kid from Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
It's a pair.
53-48.
Now, let's see what Raymond McCoy can do, because he's going to have to be on that foul line. Joe Howard!
That's Joe Howard.
That's a little induction into some quickness.
And Ray Meyer wants a timeout.
He's not going to get it in time.
We're going to have a foul on Joe Howard. His second. But Ray tried to get the attention of the team. He wanted a timeout. But fortunately for DePaul, they're going to be shooting a free throw.
Or maybe unfortunately, Gary, with the way they've been putting them up there.
Isn't that something? Raymond McCoy comes in, and Howard just went after him and stripped him of the ball. Now, what does that do to Raymond McCoy the next time?
Well, as I said, he's going to have to prove he can make some free throws, because he's going to have the ball in his hand a lot. Notre Dame is fouling. The crowd doing a great job.
That is what you mentioned earlier, and is characteristic for free throw shooting. A 62%er is McCoy.
Looked good on that one.
That redeems himself a little bit after that last turnover.
Looks like he hurt his legs a little bit. Well, Raymond, how much you think Raymond's going to weigh after he stops playing college basketball?
Boy, he hit those, didn't he? Big free throw. That'll make him feel a little bit better.
At about 28 years of age, Raymond's going to be about 240.
He's gained a little weight since last year. He shed a little. Oh, that was almost thrown away. Sluby
out of his range.
McMillan with a rebound, and he's fouled. Going to go on, let's see, they're going to spot, I believe, Joseph Price.
Yeah, Price on a reach-in. Sluby wanted to get in a little bit tighter than that to take that jumper, and that's what Digger Phelps warned him about right now.
With 2:04, DePaul still needs to be hitting those free throws. McMillan, one of their better free throw shooters at 68%, level 1-1. He's 1 of 3 thus far in this game, and they've hit 3 in a row now.
It's the win that gets DePaul back on track, and Gary, as you said at the top of the show, this could be a nail in the coffin for Notre Dame if they can't get this win as far as an NCAA bid is concerned.
Digger's words were the battle for Seattle, and it's come to that.
Now Notre Dame has to think about taking that ball inside and getting some three-point chances.
That was blocked that time. Comagese is up there along with Holmes. McMillan will be in no hurry.
Smart play, didn't see any fast break opportunity, and realizes what they need now is to work this clock.
McMillan. He's fouled.
Dolan. Should be a 2-shot foul. Oh, it was a 2-shot. He was going in for the layup. The reason that he passed the ball is he got it hit.
Dolan with his 3rd personal foul.
Ray Meyer, Joey, and entire staff cannot believe that call. But he's got a working margin here. Now let's watch McMillan. Excellent drive-in move here. You tell me he was passing that ball. He tried to shoot it. Got it knocked out of his hand. I think it should have been a 2-shotter. I know it should have been a 2-shotter.
And it's an important one because he had a 1-and-1 and he misses the front end. 6-point game. 1:33. You see the time left. They can't take a lot of time. That was intended for Rucker, and it's going to be off of DePaul.
That's a set play we see a lot of people using against the zone now because of the great leaping ability of the college players. They swing the ball around and then lob the ball across court. University of North Carolina used that so well with Michael Jordan.
Well, they're taking too much time here. It's 1:19.
DePaul's doing a good job packing that zone back in there.
Joseph Price, that basket will count. No, he traveled with it.
That's a good call. That's a good call. He did get fouled, but he walked first.
That is 13 turnovers against Notre Dame.
You see the call right here. Price makes his move, and right here, see, he had to take those steps before he went up for the shot.
That's a big turnaround, isn't it?
Yep.
Could have been a 3-point game. Instead, it's a 6-point game, and DePaul has the ball.
McMillan.
McMillan lost that, and Howard lost it.
Catch by Digger.
Jerry McMillan might be a little tired. He's down on one knee now and trying to collect himself.
And now's the time when a lot of people start going ahead and getting banged up a little bit. Both of these teams are physically banged up.
Comagese, and they're going to foul him. Rucker has committed the foul. The ball wants 2 shots, but it's going to be a 1-and-1.
Now, there's an interesting case, and I think very well officiated. Digger Phelps is screaming foul, foul. But the player was going for the ball. The referee can't go ahead and try to get into the guy mentally, but realized he was going for the ball, which is a defensive play, and made it a 1-and-1.
That on Rucker was his 4th foul, and Comagese, who was 1 of 2 a moment ago, at the line again.
Barry, how many guys have we seen this year with taped hands? I don't know if that's for grabbing the rim so much. I've never seen so many college players with their hands taped right across the palm.
This, fortunately, is not on the shooting hand of Comagese. 7-point lead now for the second-ranked Blue Demons.
He has a nice follow-through.
Boy, he's going to have quite a career, isn't he? Inside a minute to go. Right, lost it. Corbin, and McMillan wisely pulls it out.
Pretty nifty dribbling. McCoy should get rid of that ball.
They foul McCoy. That's the guy they want to foul, and Price commits the foul. Ray again wanting 2, but no way on that one.
Come on, baby, we need these.
Okay, and here we go back to the foul line again.
Well, Raymond McCoy hit 2 big ones a while ago.
Come on, baby, we need it.
He's a very good student, by the way, Raymond. He played at Bloom High School, Chicago Heights. Started out like it might not be his day, and all of a sudden now he's hitting 2. Let's see if he can hit 2 more. They've hit 5 of their last 7.
Raymond's got his hands taped up too, but I don't think that's from grabbing the rim. There's Tim Kempton. Really tough for that young man, because this would have been his kind of ball game with banging on the inside.
Boy, McCoy is perfect from the line, and it's a 10-point lead with 43 seconds to go. Howard, Dolan.
Well, you do not want the foul if you're DePaul. Was that a foul call? You do not. That's the last thing you want to do, because you don't want to stop the clock.
Notre Dame, they're on the edge, getting to the NCAA tourney. They needed to win here on national television. They would go to 15-8, and it's going to be tough for them to get back into that NCAA tourney.
Gary, what did we say? 60 points or more means a DePaul win. Look at the score. 34 seconds to go, and they've got 60 points.
Notre Dame's been allowing 54 points. On the other hand, this game kind of ushers in for DePaul a return to where they were before they lost. Allowing 54 points. On the other hand, this game kind of ushers in for DePaul a return to where they were before they lost against St. Joseph's. They've restabilized themselves.
Now you can see the Notre Dame bench.
That was Holmes, by the way, fouling out of the ball game. He leads with 14 points and also 5 rebounds.
Now, Digger in 13 years had 9 teams in the NCAA, 2 in the NIT, 8 20-game winning seasons.
But the last 2 years, he has not made it to the NCAA. 2 years ago, he had a losing record. And last year, even though they won 7 of their last 11 and finished with 19 wins, they ended up in the NIT.
Right.
Lost in the first round to Northwestern.
Maybe headed there this year.
21 points for this man, Sluby. He's played very, very well.
Now, Sluby is a scorer as opposed to a shooter. You know, there's some guys that are pure shooters that can't score, and some guys just have that ability to score, and he's one of them.
Corbin asks for a timeout. A little pushing there now. Man who just checked into the ball game is Lawrence West, number 23 or 33 for DePaul. And
Diggers again wanting that 5-second call, saying that the 4 seconds had transpired. He's reaching.
And I think that timeout is going to allow Raymire to make a change. He's going to get into the ball game a new man.
I'm taking better care of my body. Better care of my skin, too. With Skin Bracer Aftershave, shaving can make your skin hot, irritated. Thermal photography shows it. But Skin Bracer cools your skin, tightens pores. That's the tingle. Smells great, too. But it's not cologne. It's skin care that feels good. Thanks. I needed that.
Skin Bracer takes care of men who take care of their skin. Skin Bracer Aftershave.
By Menon.
For the past 2 years, I've been telling you, with some interruptions, that an independent test for Best Color Picture, the Sylvania Superset beat RCA, Zenith, and Sony. Well, this year, we again asked over 1,000 people which TV had the best overall color picture. And more of them picked the 19-inch Sylvania Superset over RCA and Zenith and Sony, too.
何ですか? こんなですか? Sylvania beats Sony again? どうして? 別会でしょ?
DP Gym Pack. Professional exercises at home. DP, fit for life.
For life, for life. DP, DP, DP. My turn. DP, DP.
The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Kevin Holmes, who had 14 points and 5 rebounds for DePaul. Tom Sluby for Notre Dame. Sluby with 23 points, 14 in the second half. And a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each school.
There's the 2-shot foul. Sluby reaching out, not in a defensive position whatsoever. Official wisely calls it a 2-shot foul.
That's 4 on Sluby.
That's good interpretation of the rules.
So Raymire, with this victory today, will have 715 wins.
You know, Gary, it's nice to see. Last week we had Ralph Miller, who's having excellent years in the latter part of his career as a coach. Marv Harshman up in Washington, having one of the great years at his ball club now, and pretty much in the driver's seat in the Pac-10. Guy Lewis down at Houston having great years, and those are the fellows that are right up there with Ray as the winningest coaches in Division I basketball.
Not necessarily a young man's game, huh?
Well, they're proving it otherwise. Now the official puts the ball on the floor, and now it's up to the player to go pick it up and get it off in time.
He's got to shoot it in 10 seconds.
Right.
32 seconds left in this game. McMillan, by the way, is only 2 of 7 from the line.
Notre Dame's got to drive to the basket. Just hope they can get some three-point opportunities. Joe Howard takes it in there. Smart play.
But on his way to the basket, he is guilty of charging.
Well, that's what he's got to do, though, is a smart play.
You know, DePaul only has 2 more road games coming up. So this is a big game for them.
Yeah, time to get some not only good experience at home, but you're not having to be on the road traveling. You get that crowd behind you, get some good momentum for the end of the year.
Ray told me he thought they traveled too much early in the year. They got tired. You know, they were, what was it, 30,000 miles they traveled at one time.
And look at the excellent competition they played too, all over. You know, they went to Japan.
Yep. Anyway, he was saying that he was glad that they were going to be home more, and of course, this win kind of gets them over the top. There's Comegys trying to go over the top.
Luby ought to take it right to the basket.
Rebound McMillan with 14 seconds.
No sense fouling here. Now, here's a situation where a lot of coaches around the country are saying, okay, if teams are going to foul at the end, there should be that choice of taking the ball out of bounds as opposed to going to the line. And I really believe that would be a good move for collegiate basketball to adopt next year.
Fouling out of the ball game is Sluby, our MVP for Notre Dame, with 23 points, and Price will come in. Sluby has been the big surprise this year for Notre Dame, and he's the guy that gave him the lift.
Digger walks down to Ray, who is standing here exhorting his team on, and Digger says, relax, it is now over. We've got 11 seconds to go.
Digger's won 250 games himself, but he's been sitting on that a little longer than he'd like to.
Well, counting his Fordham games, he's got more than that. He's got 250 here, right?
That's right, at Notre Dame.
Yeah. He had the 1 year at Fordham where he was a head coach, had the great season. Got in the NCAA.
Well, the Blue Demons are going to go to 18-1.
McMillan fouls, and Joe Howard does the right thing. He takes it to the hole, and now you've got Ray hollering, why would you foul somebody? Let him go to the hole. There's only 4 seconds to go, Gary. You let the guy go to the basket, and then you got 5 seconds to get it in bounds. The game's over.
Well, Ray hasn't had an awful lot to complain about. His team has played well today. He thought they would. He said, I think that game that we lost will relieve some of the pressure, and they did shoot the ball so much better. Can you believe they shot 26% in their last game? He said he's never had a team shoot that poorly.
Let me ask you a question. You think if anybody other than Joey were his #1 assistant, okay, his own son, I don't believe he would retire. I believe he would still coach if Joey wasn't waiting there in the wings. He's saying, hey, it's time for Joey to get the job.
Joey's been, what, an assistant 13, 14 years waiting. That's a hell ball, and Notre Dame will get it with 1 second.
Well, these officials showed up late, and what they're trying to do now is to make sure they get paid for a full game.
Oh, you got to get them sooner or later. You got them now, right?
Well, they came 15 minutes late, so they're trying to get the game to go 15 minutes longer. Oh, nice. Rucker hits the ground, and that's the end of this ball game.
So the final score will be 62-54. DePaul 18-1. Second ranked. Notre Dame now goes to 15-8 on the year. Digger Phelps will be here for many, many years. Ray Meyer, their last meeting.
Mercedes-Benz has spent millions of dollars.
Thomas was a high school legend in that city, but he fled to Indiana, where he paced the Hoosiers to a national title. Mark Aguirre, another schoolboy hero, played right there at DePaul. But suddenly, the cream of Chicago's high school crop has started migrating downstate to the University of Illinois, where they put some kick into Lou Henson's Fighting Illini program. Sophomore forward Ephraim Winters, part of the Chicago connection, has keyed the Illini offense and helped seal a Big Ten championship.
We're very pleased the way the team has played. We have good chemistry. They work hard. They play good defense, hit the boards tough. So we're very pleased the way the team is coming along.
Things were coming along just fine Thursday night until Ephraim Winters sprained his ankle. Now, despite his absence, the Illini held on to beat Maryland and advanced to today's regional final against Kentucky. But but his status is a major concern for the coach.
I think we have a very good team if we have Ephraim in there, but without him, we're not nearly as good.
Lexington, Kentucky, a town of thoroughbreds on the track and on the basketball court. It's been 6 years since the Wildcats last reigned supreme, but Kentucky is a school with a rich championship tradition, and once again, Coach Joe B. Hall looks like he's got the horses for this year's NCAA Derby. His twin towers, Mel Turpin and Sam Bowie, can turn it on down the stretch, and don't bet against them in Kentucky.
Well, the home court advantage puts a lot of additional pressure on a club like us because it's expected that we got a golden road to Seattle.
Well, the road might not have been golden, but it has been relatively smooth. The Cats mauled BYU and then clawed their way past Louisville. So Kentucky will not make the mistake now of underestimating Illinois.
We know that they're not much of an underdog. I think they've improved in watching them play here and beating Maryland. Thought they have improved as a ball club, and they're playing very, very good.
So that is coming up. Ephraim Winters on the floor now for the Fighting Illini. He is testing that injured ankle. He is hopeful that he will be able to play.